your people that are handling you, they don't want you to worry about the business at that point when you're early on. No, we don't want you to worry
That's their
about
business.
it.
And that's the problem.
That's
That's
their
the problem.
business.
You have to learn the
Yeah.
business as hard as it might be. That way it doesn't break you later.
Exactly. So then when you find out later, like, oh, so they were telling me this and this was going on, and then
baby.
yeah.
And
yeah.
at that point, then it becomes a hustle, and it becomes it's not very artistic. You know what I mean? It becomes about understanding greed, and it becomes about understanding that art, and this was something they told me, and I never really bought into it. But now I see that I sacrificed my financial success for an artistic success. But that's what I wanted. So now when I look back, I go, okay, I didn't make $1 million. I made someone else $1 million, so I know that my shit works. But I also left gems, cultural gems, for the next generation to build on. Cultural gems that now, in the here and now we can do business. So now this round table here, the fact, you saw how I reacted when I met you, Carnal. So that's real. Same here. We've known each other and run in the same circles for 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
But when we get together, when I saw you at one of Block's parties, dude, and we were all hanging out, you saw the vatos that were there.
Yeah.
Ross, me, you.
Yeah.
These are all people that have committed themselves to a certain authentic cultural truth in the artistic world that has come with sacrifices. Because
Absolutely.
they don't want the real. Why did it take 30 years for Blood In, Blood Out to come out with this book? Because the studio that made it still doesn't admit that they made it. And this is after making $1 billion
Off of it.
off a $14 million write-off, man. That's business.
It's thankless. It's a thankless business.
And it's a
sometimes.
thankless business because
Damn.
there is a certain cultural perception. And you're right. They don't want us knowing where the numbers and cents go. That's the whole battle. If you listen to even Snoop Dogg did a great little IG drop where he talked about, and he's not an actor, but he was talking about why are the actors on strike and why is there something going on with streaming. And he said it real simple in his vernacular. And it was like, look, just because I don't know how you're robbing me doesn't mean I don't know that I'm being robbed.
Right.
And as an artist, I see my face. Dude, I see how many times this movie's been watched. I did the math on a DVD sale.
Yeah.
I did, we're not dummies. After 40 years in the business, we know how to count. We depend on it to
Well,
pay
they don't
the
want you
bills.
to count.
Exactly.
No.
They don't want us to count. But we learn because we're from the barrio. I know how to count.
Well, I mean, record
Comes with-
companies sometimes will, if they owe you a royalty, they might withhold it for a while until you have some representation calling asking for it.
But don't you know when it's not there?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I mean, but back in the day when you didn't know, sometimes they would let it run on you, depending on the label, until you had someone calling about that, like, hey, this quarter is up and royalties are due, they haven't came yet.
Okay,
What is the holdup?
So then what we understand as cultural artists, right, is that that's a control.
Absolutely.
That's a control mechanism.
Yeah.
It's not just financial. And you can say, well, that's the business and they're greedy and that's how it works. It's like, okay, I don't mind that, but I see other stories, other storytellers, other cultures getting the lift when we're telling the real and you want to learn how to sell to my raza because they're the largest demographic. In my lifetime, they've been touting the Latino wave, the cultural wave, the black-brown power, all the unity of cultural and diverse stories, which is part of the American narrative.